Known as the city of homes, Springfield's many historic houses typically bring pride to residents, but they could also be costing them money over time. And Western Mass News reporter Addie Patterson is getting answers from a local organization that's offering free housing weatherization updates.
We really need to step in and make sure that the citizens here in Springfield, they get the resources and the support necessary.
Several homes within the city of Springfield are not up to modern energy efficiency standards. However, one local organization is working to change that. Springfield Partners for Community Action, in partnership with Eversource, is offering free weatherization updates to low-income residents.
You can need something but not know where to go, or may not have any money, but Springfield Partners will provide for you.
Tony Taylor is a Springfield homeowner who took part in the free weatherization program. He tells us it's extremely beneficial to the city's older residents.
When you become a senior citizen, everything may not be possible for you to do at one time. And so to have Springfield Partners for Community Action is a blessing.
To learn more about the program, Western Mass News spoke with J.C. Schnabel, Deputy Director for Springfield Partners for Community Action. He explains the different types of updates the program offers residents.
Window replacements, some are energy system replacements, and insulation on pipes, insulation in the ceiling, insulation in the walls, all of those things, and then some are all of that together. And even if you're a renter, if the landlord agrees, we can actually go out and do weatherization on a rental property as well.
Schnabel tells us when a house is not up to energy efficiency standards, it can be costly for residents and even decrease the value of their home.
We've got folks who are living in older homes, and it costs them a lot of money just to pay for energy. And energy is really expensive, especially now. So to be able to go out and make these repairs on their homes, they can actually lower their energy bills by hundreds of dollars. So over the course of a year, they're saving potentially thousands of dollars.
And weatherization isn't the only program available to residents. The organization also offers things like tax assistance, services for veterans, and SNAP benefit assistance.
We encourage anybody and everybody to reach out because we probably have something either for them or a connection that we can make on their behalf.
To learn more about Springfield Partners for Community Action or the weatherization program, you can head on over to our website, westernmassnews.com, and click the blue As Seen on TV button. Reporting in Springfield, Addie Patterson for Western Mass News.